Hey, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Mr. Takeda teaching you Math 7. This is lesson 7.1 on adjacent and vertical angles. Right away, you're going to notice we got some funny words here, adjacent and vertical. So, our essential question, what can you conclude about the angles formed by two intersecting lines? Okay, so we have this other word, intersecting. Let's make sure we understand what that means. First, a little review classification of angles. An angle is acute. That doesn't mean that they're cute. That means they're acute if it's less than 90 degrees. So a right angle is 90 degrees. This is less than 90 degrees. See how these two lines are kind of closer to each other than 90 degrees? Obtuse means it's greater than 90 degrees. So these lines are getting further apart. It's past. You kind of have to kind of picture this, right? So less than 90, exactly 90, and then more than 90, and then we have the straight angle, which is essentially kind of like a straight line, but it's 180 degrees. Okay, so that's just kind of review. Supposedly you're supposed to know that already. We have this new word, adjacent. Let's talk about the word outside of a math context. When two states are adjacent, they are next to each other and they share a common border. So here's New Hampshire, here's Maine, here is the border between New Hampshire and Maine. We can say Maine is adjacent to New Hampshire, or we can say Maine and New Hampshire are adjacent states. Okay, so it's an adjective that means that two things are next to each other. In the context of your house, you could say, the bathroom is adjacent to the bedroom. They're next to each other. They might share a common wall. The dining room is adjacent to the kitchen. They're next to each other. We have this is a naming angles. Okay, so we have this diagram here, and over here we can call this angle A because there's only one possible angle here that can be angle A, and we're going to name it after the vertex, which is kind of like the corner of the two lines coming together. Right? So this is angle A. Now down here, this angle is angle BDE. Now we can't call it angle D. This is the vertex, because maybe this is angled. Maybe this is what this could be confused with the angle BDE, right? If you call it angle D, maybe we're talking about this one. Maybe you're talking about the whole thing. Maybe you're talking about this whole thing. Maybe you're talking about this thing, or you're talking about this thing. They all share this common vertex. So if that's the case, we name a point on one of the lines of the angle. The vertex goes in the middle, and then I'm sorry, B up here. Sorry, B, D, E. Right. So B, and then D. The vertex goes in the middle, and the point on the other side will go at the end. So B, D, E. Again, the vertex has to be in the middle. So that's kind of a convention that we have to follow when we're naming angles. Okay, so when we have two intersecting lines, like we have in this diagram, two angles are adjacent when they share a common side and have the same vertex. Common side, same vertex. So angles 1 and 2 are adjacent because they all have this common vertex and they share this common side. 2 and 4 are not adjacent. What else is adjacent? What else is adjacent in this diagram? Well, 2 is adjacent to 3, right? And I could say that 3 is adjacent to 4, and 4 is adjacent to 1. So lots of different ways to use this adjacent angle idea with two intersecting lines. But when they're across from each other, they're not adjacent. But when they're across from each other, They're called vertical angles. Okay, they share a common vertex, and they're going to be opposite each other. So 1 and 3 are vertical, 2 and 4 are vertical, and they're going to have the same measure. They're going to be equal measure. Okay, they're going to be equal measure. Up here, of course, adjacent angles. You can see 1 and 2. If you add them together, you're going to get 180 because they're going to form a straight angle here. 2 and 3, again, will add up to 180. Same for 3 and 4, and 4 and 1. Okay, so that's some kind of our definitions there. So let's talk about naming angles here. Name a pair of adjacent angles. There's a lot of them here, so there's going to be more than one pair of adjacent angles. But again, the idea is that they share a common side. So maybe this is the common side between this angle and this angle, right? They have its common side. So I could say, name a pair of adjacent angles. Angle ABF and angle FBE. ABF and FBE. And there's lots of adjacent angles here. A pair of vertical angles. Now I have to look for a pair. I have to look for you have to look for intersecting lines, right? Intersecting lines. So this line doesn't really intersect, right? It's not. It doesn't go all the way through. So this is an intersecting line to this one. So my pair of vertical angles, I'm going to say FBD, right, this one. Let me erase this so you're not confused here. FBD and angle ABC. Again, they share this common vertex, so this B is going to be in the middle, here and here. ABC, which is this one. Okay, we'll practice that more in class, but I'm going to ask you to do this here. This is true and false. Answer these questions. Look at these angles and answer these questions. Just true or false. Just jot it down. You'll put these answers in at the end of the pod. This is for class. Okay, and example 2 here. Tell whether the angles are adjacent or vertical, then find the value of x. Okay, so when they say the angles, they're talking about the labeled angles here. So 70, this angle, and this angle. So those are vertical angles, right? Because they're across from each other. They're across from each other, and they're formed by 2 intersecting lines. And find the value of x. Well, we know that vertical angles are equal measure. So x equals 70. It's the same as the other side. For B, tell whether they're adjacent or vertical. Okay, so we have this angle, and I've got this angle. Okay. Well, of course, those are going to be adjacent, because they share this common this common side, and they have a common vertex. Those are adjacent. Then find x. So this is going to require a little bit of kind of like algebra. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Well, I know that together, this right angle is going to be 90. So together they're going to equal 90 degrees. So I just add these two things together. So that'll be 31 plus x plus 4. Okay, so I can eliminate those. I don't need the parentheses in there because everything is addition. I can simplify the right side. 31 plus 4 is 35. And now I can start the process of using inverse operations to isolate the x. So I can subtract 35 from both sides. So this will cancel out. 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. So 55 equals x. So find the value of x. 55. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so try these two. This will be the end of the video, so you can just pause it here, answer these. Again, the first one, of course. Now, in this case, they're going to equal 180 degrees because this is a straight angle together, right? Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.